It's the Weather Xtreme video. This is the afternoon edition for Wednesday, October 5th. I'm James Spann. Alabama's drought will worsen. Hurricane Matthew approaching Florida. Many questions about that hurricane. Very interesting forecast. A lot to talk about, so let's dive into this thing. Upper trough, cold upper trough back in the western part of the United States. And wow, let me show you what's going on underneath this thing. This is in Saskatchewan. The big snows are starting. Yeah, buddy. Looking good. Don't expect that around here anytime soon, but that is certainly a sign of the times. Yeah, we're in the 80s. Birmingham 86, Tuscaloosa 87, and again, we're going to stay in the 80s for a while. We'll cool down a bit by Sunday and early next week, but not as much as we thought earlier this week as the track of Matthew has changed. And again, you can see the cold air back in Canada. They were only in the 20s and 30s at mid-afternoon, just like the dead of winter. But around here, it's more like summertime. On the watch warning map, there's a look at the watches and warnings for Florida. The areas in red, that is a hurricane warning from roughly Daytona Beach south down to Miami. North of Daytona Beach, that is a hurricane watch up to Jacksonville and on up to the Georgia coast. Of course, we'll talk much more about Matthew in just a moment. Convective outlook for today, a marginal severe weather risk from near Childress, Texas to a little bit north of St. Louis. Tomorrow, an enhanced risk north of Kansas City. It's kind of in that clashing zone between the cold air in the western states and the warm air here. And on day 3, which is Friday, no organized severe weather expected. Rain, yep, you know the deal. Can't buy a drop. This is the 17th consecutive day without measurable rain for Birmingham. We checked this morning. The record is 52 consecutive days. I don't think we topped that. That was set back in 1924. Here's the rain from Matthew. And remember, the big rains are going to be off in the Atlantic, offshore, with this thing sideswiping the coast. Thank goodness. Those rains of 15, 16 inches. On the immediate coast, rain amounts could be in the 2- and 3-inch range with much lighter amounts inland. A very tight gradient. And you can see Tampa not getting much at all over on the west coast of Florida. So tropics, here we go. First off, that wave that's approaching the Windward Islands. No chance of any development in the short term. We have Matthew and Nicole. Nicole is a tropical storm that is packing sustained winds of 50 miles an hour. This thing is going to just meander about aimlessly for the next 5 days. No threat to land, so we'll focus on Matthew. The top winds 120 miles per hour, Category 3, moving north at 12. Look at the modeling. The 18Z models are in. And you got a few of them want to take it out to sea, but many of them are in the loop camp, where this thing does a full loop east of the South Atlantic coast of the United States. You can see that curve beginning to take shape there. Here's a look at the GFS ensemble, and this will make your head explode if you're into weather. Trying to assemble that into a public forecast. First off, what you're looking at here, the blue line, that is the 12Z run. That's the latest deterministic run. The mean of the ensemble members, that is the black line, the black dots. And really, that's the one you want to focus on. And the 12Z run obviously takes it back into the southern Gulf, almost down to the Yucatan. But the mean of the ensemble members, they bring it back to the Bahamas and then kick it back out to the northeast, almost doing a full loop. But members of the ensemble are just all over the place, as you can see. Here's a look at the guidance. The intensity guidance, and you can see it's going to stay very formidable. A major hurricane through 60 hours, then slow weakening is expected after that with interaction with land. Here's the official track from the Hurricane Center, and again, there's not much change here. Hurricane warnings for the Bahamas comes up to a point awfully close to Cape Canaveral Friday morning. And then Saturday morning, it's east of Savannah, and then it takes a hard right-hand turn. And, of course, this lessens any problems north of Charleston. Our friends in New England, it looks like they might be off the hook here with this thing. Here's a look at the tropical storm force wind speed probabilities. And again, you can see those very high numbers coming up into the Florida coast. This is the hurricane force wind speed probabilities. And, of course, the probabilities are much lower inland, which is a good thing. And keep in mind, let me go back to the track. Remember, the bad side, it's the east side. The good side is the west side, and most of Florida is on the good side. Now, good is a relative term. Understand that. Even if the center stays a little offshore, it's going to be very windy and very wet on the immediate coast. But inland, places like Orlando, all these questions about Disney World. If you got a trip, I would go. If you're down there, I would stay. They're on the good side. And yes, Friday will be wet and windy in Orlando, but the weekend should be just beautiful. And again, I don't think they'll have any flooding. I don't think they'll have any major damage or impact from this thing. So if you're going to Orlando, just go and have a good trip. And remember, Friday's your bad day. So let's look at the GFS 12Z run. This is valid tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Cold trough in the west. We are in very dry air. And our weather's just not going to change for 7 days, except we cool down a little bit late this weekend. This is valid at 1 o'clock Central Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow. Sunny with mid-80s here, mid to upper 80s, and Matthew is east of Miami. Friday, 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern. This run brings the center inland a little bit, and that's not good for Cape Canaveral and Daytona Beach. And again, when it comes to evacuation orders and doing things here, preparedness, you've got to take the worst case scenario into account. Best case scenario, the thing stays offshore. You get away with just wind and rain and not much damage. But understand, that's very problematic if this verifies. But everybody to the west of that low, the center of circulation, they're on the good side, Orlando and Tampa Bay. And again, Friday here will be sunny with mid-80s. Saturday, Matthew is east of Savannah. We're dry. Saturday's high, probably mid-80s. Weather's not going to change much. And then Sunday, you can see it takes a hard right-hand turn. And for us, Sunday will be a little cooler, highs dropping back maybe into the upper 70s. Not as cool as would be the case if Matthew kept on moving up the coast, tapping Canadian air. And then Monday, it's doing the loop-de-loop. The 12Z run brings it back into Florida around West Palm Beach. Is a much weaker system. And we're dry. Monday would be a day with a high in the 70s and a low upper 40s, low 50s. And then Tuesday, Matthew works his way down into the southern Gulf of Mexico. And we note that other low to the east of Florida, that is Nicole, the other tropical system out there. And here's a week from today. This is Wednesday the 12th. No sign of any really big shots of cold air with that pattern. And again, we're dry, probably low 80s. And we've got, if this verifies, and understand this probably won't, but it's got what would be Matthew in the southern Gulf and Nicole that's south of Bermuda in the Atlantic. Confidence obviously is very low once you get out here beyond 5 days with these. We'll check the end of the forecast period. This is Saturday, October 15th. Pretty good-looking trough over the east, big upper high over the southwest. And if that's right, by golly, we might just catch a cold front toward the end of next week, and just maybe a chance of showers. We'll keep our fingers crossed, but don't bank on it. This is a very dry month. And again, since Nicole is not going northeast up toward New England and Nova Scotia, it's not going to tap the Canadian air, and accordingly, we don't cool down that much. This is the ensemble guidance, and it's got us only around 80 Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Remember, yesterday we were looking at 69 on Sunday and Monday. So again, we have to adjust the numbers up based on the tropical track. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video this afternoon. We'll have notes in the blog. The next video here by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. You can't catch us this evening on the live stream or on television. ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless.